Alright, we are going to continue here with part 2. There was some noise on the first one, so we'll just keep going here. Knight of Dawn's Light, 2/2 human knight for 2 with first strike. If you would gain life, you gain that much life plus 1 instead. You can pay 2 and it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Tori Demented Fury Rider. Did we just have another one of those? Alright, now we've got the stained glass version of it. Ivy Gleeful Spell Thief, a 2/1 Fairy Rogue for 2. Flying, whenever a player casts a spell that targets only a single target creature other than her, you may copy that spell. A player, so you could copy it yourself, your opponents could copy it. Alright, double rare pack. Let's see. Defiler of Flesh, a 4/4 Phyrexian Horror for 4 with Menache. As an additional cost to cast black permanent spells, you may pay 2 life. Those spells cost black less to cast if you pay life for this way, so it kind of makes it Phyrexian life-ish or Phyrexian mana-ish. This effect reduces only the amount of black mana you would pay. Whenever you cast a black permanent spell, target creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains menace until end of turn. There's a lot going on there, but it's kind of a lot of good stuff. Cut Down, instant for 1, destroy target creature with total power and toughness less than 5, and it is the foil version. That goes to the uncommon pile. An Exuberant Wolfbearer. Oh, it's a list card. 4/4 Wolfbear for 4. Whenever Exuberant Wolfbear attacks, you may change the base power and toughness of target human you control to Exuberant Wolfbear's power and toughness until end of turn. Alright, so it makes your humans a little bit bigger. That is pack number 1. Let's see what we've got in pack number 2. And the art card is many faces. Okay. Plain Old Island. Alright. Manigoth Sentry. We'll go with that. 4/4 Treefolk with Reach for 4. Nothing terribly fancy. Salvage Mana Worker. 1/3 Construct for 2. Construct Tribal. Here we go. You pay 1 to add 1 mana of any color. Activate only once each turn. That's probably never going to see play. Coalition Warbrute, a 3/4 Minotaur Berserker for 4 with Endlist. As this creature attacks, you may tap a non-attacking creature you control without summoning Sickness. When you do, add its power to this creature's until end of turn. And it's got Trample. Not terrible, but not great. Djinn of the Fountain, 4/4 Djinn for 6. It's got Flying. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, choose 1. Djinn of the Fountain gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Exile Djinn the Fountain. Return to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of your next end step, or scry 1. Elvish Hydromancer, a 3/2 elf wizard for 3 with a kicker of 4. When it ETBs, if it was kicked, create a token that's a copy of the target creature you control. That's not bad. I mean, it costs 7 to do it, but... Alright, Vohar, Vidalian Desecrator, a 1/2 Phyrexian Merfolk wizard. that is quite the type line. For 2, you can tap it to draw a card, then discard a card. If you discard an instant or sorcery card in this way, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. You can pay 2 and sacrifice them. You may cast target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard this turn. If that spell will be put into your graveyard, exile it instead. Activate only as a sorcery. Oh, hey, look. And the exact same card in the stained glass version. Okay. Board took Bone Rattle, a 4/4 Legendary Troll Shaman for 6 with Domain. When it ETBs, if you cast it, choose target creature card in your graveyard, return that card to the battlefield if its mana value is less than or equal to the number of basic land types among lands you control, otherwise put it into your hand. I don't love it. Baru Wormspeaker, 3/3 Human Druid for 4. Worms you control get +2/+2 and have Trample. You know, with all that worm tribal that's going on these days. You can pay 8 and tap it to create a 4/4 green worm creature token. This ability costs X less to activate, where X is the greatest power among the worms you control. Alright, so your first worm costs 8, your second worm costs 4, And I guess actually second round +2. It's not terrible. This could, I don't know that it would be a commander, but it could be in there. Now, Guardian of New Benalia, 2/2 human soldier for 2 with enlist. We did the enlist thing on a previous card. Whenever Guardian of New Benalia enlists a creature, scry 2. That's cool. Discard a card. Guardian of New Benalia gains indestructible until end of turn, and tap it. This has some usability. Yeah, Island Mountain, that is shiny. And list card, Pyroclasm. Pyroclasm deals 2 damage to each creature. This includes your creatures. Chaos does not choose its enemies. Sorcery for 2. Alright. I like that. That's interesting. I like it. Don't know that I'm ever actually going to use it, but I like the idea. Alright. Opening up the third and final pack for this video. The art card is that guy. It's Ghost Rider. Okay. Shiny standard island. Jaya's Fire Nado. It's a sorcery for 5. Deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker and scry 1. Not terrible. Lightning Strike. Lightning Strike deals 3 damage to any target for 2. Not Lightning Bolt. Benalish Faithbonder. A 1/3 human cleric with vigilance and enlist for 2. A little underwhelming. Shield Wall Sentinel, 1/3 defender. When it ETBs, you may search your library for a creature card defender, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle. That's got some use. Electrostatic Infantry, a 1/2 dwarf wizard for 2 with trample. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Electrostatic Infantry. Spellslinger deck, that's going to go nuts pretty fast. Slimefoot Survey, it's a sorcery for 5, with domain, search your library for up to 2 land cards that each have a basic land type. Put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of basic land types among lands you control. Put up to 1 of them on top of your library, and the rest, that's just a lot to get a couple lands in, probably. I don't know, for 5, maybe not worth it. Nael Avizoa Aeronaut. It is a 2/4 legendary elfish scout for 4 with flying, with also a domain. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of basic land types among lands you control, so up to 5, probably 2. Put 1 of them on top of your library and the rest on the bottom in a random order. Then if there are 5 basic land types from among lands you control, draw a card. That's, again, kind of an awful lot with the domain thing going on there. Tura Kenyurd Sky Knight, a 3/3 legendary human knight for 5. It's got flying, and whenever you cast an instant sorcerer spell, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. Not terrible, not great. Sten Paranoid Partisan, it's a 2/2 legendary human wizard for 2. As it enters the battlefield, choose a card type other than creature or land. Spells you cast of the chosen type cost 1 less to cast. Pay 3, exile him, return to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So he blinks, and he makes instant sorceries, enchantments, artifacts, all cheaper. I like it. Aether Channeler is a 2/1 human wizard for 3. When it ETBs, choose 1. Create a 1/1 white bird creature token with flying. Return another target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, or draw a card. All of those are pretty cool. Oh shit, 3 rares in this one. This is a shiny. Kinda shiny-ish. Trust me on that. Can I get any shine off that? Oh, whatever. Robrand Mercenaries, 3/4 human mercenary for 4 with vigilance. It has all activated abilities of all legendary creatures you control. Nice. I like it. And Sapperling token. Alright, folks. That's it for the first half. Let's take a look. I'm going to tear these apart and see if any of these are going to fit in any of my decks, and we'll talk about those in the second half. See you in just a few. All right, friends, we are back. We're going to talk about some of the cards that I think I might use in some decks or are just halfway decent in general. And we're going to start with Electrostatic Infantry. So, wait, oh, that's right. Electrostatic Infantry, Jin, Volstide Turner, all of these here. Um, these are probably going to go in an upcoming Spellslinger deck that I'm thinking of building. You get +1/+1 on him when you cast spells. You get a whole charm of actions that you can do with Jin when you cast spells. Volsh Tide Turner enables you to cast more spells. So these have some real potential in a Spellslinger deck. Let's look at this. Stan here, any discount is good. If he was in red-blue, then that would be even better because that would make everything that much cheaper. But that ability it's not bad. Guardian of Nubenalia, the Scry ability. I think Scry is really underrated. So being able to Scry on a stick, I think that actually does quite a bit. Shield Wall Sentinel. Well, if you guys have been following me, you guys know that I've got an Arcades deck, and I do like my defenders, and being able to tutor for defenders is also quite good. Okay, Salvage Mana Worker. There's tons of ways to make infinite colorless mana. This makes your infinite colorless mana into infinite mana of any color that you want. Cut Down and Stall for Time. These are both just pretty decent removal, at least removal-ish. Stall for Time doesn't quite get rid of it altogether, but it takes it out of combat, and in our play group, we like to do a lot of combat. So cut down, get rid of something small-ish or a large-ish defender. That's helpful. Roadbrand Mercenaries. Legends Matter. I do have a Sisay Legends Matter deck, and I do have a lot of shrines in that deck, so that might actually be pretty helpful in there. Choking Miasma. All creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. This would have helped me last night. Last night I won a game with Dina because I had a ton of pests out, and them all dying at the same time made me gain a bunch of life and made all my opponents lose a bunch of life. So that was really helpful. A card like this would have made me, I did it with Toxic Deluge, I would have been able to do this without having to lose any life at all. Elvish Hydromancer. Making a copy of a big dumb creature is something that goes well in my Krufix deck, and having Baru in there also might be pretty helpful in making more big dumb creatures. So that's what I got. Like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think. Peace!